Hi everyone, welcome to Year 9 Food Tech. Today we're going to be making apple pie, and there's two parts to that. There's obviously the pastry component and there's also the apples, which we will make as separate. We're going to do the pastry first because that needs time to rest. And before you commence, you need to make sure you have a clean apron on. Make sure you've washed your hands in hot soapy water for 20 seconds. Make sure your hair is up. Make sure you have no jewellery on. You also will need a hand towel, 2 clean tea towels and a clean dishcloth for cleaning up as you go. The next thing to do is make sure you have all of your ingredients out and ready. So you need 1 cup of plain flour first. Dip it in, tap it, get any air pockets out, scrape it, and just put it on the bench. If you don't have 2 sets, you can go straight into the bowl, straight into a sifter. And then you need 1 cup of self-raising flour. Again, dip it in, tap it to get out the air pockets, scrape it off nice and level, and straight into your sifter. And you need 1/2 cup of caster sugar. You don't have to sift the caster sugar, that can just go straight into the bowl. When you're sifting, hold your hand flat and then just tap the sifter to the side of it. Now it's a good idea to clean and stack up as you go to try and keep your bench area organised. Now you need 125 grams of butter and it needs to be diced up. The scales to 125 grams. Now if you don't have scales, you can just get a 250 gram block of butter and just cut it in half and then dice it up. Okay, so this part requires the rubbing in method. So the little blocks of butter, you need to squish between your fingertips into the flour, okay, so that it rubs through the flour and just basically the butter coats the flour. Okay, so this now is like nice and fine breadcrumbs. Now when I was rubbing in, I was lifting it up at the same time to aerate and turn in the bowl. Now you know when it's ready is when there's absolutely no lumps of butter left. It should look like nice fine breadcrumbs. You don't want any lumps at all. It will take you 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so the next stage is to add the egg. So I have 1 egg here, which I need to crack and into a bowl. And I'm just going to beat that up with a fork. And the recipe says add 2 teaspoons, but last time I made this, it actually needed a little bit extra. So I'm going to do I'm going to do 4 teaspoons, and then if it's too much, I'll let you know, and then you can adjust it. It's always much easier to add extra flour than it is to add extra liquid to a dough. Okay, a little well in the centre. Tip out the egg. Just stir that through. As it starts to come together, you can put your hands in there and bring it in. Just don't put your hands in when there's too much liquid in there because it'll just stick to your hands and it's a bit messy. Okay, then tip it out. And bring it together. Now hopefully the warmth of your hands will help bring this together into a nice soft dough. It's still quite dry. I think this is very absorbent flour. This depends on how old the flour is, what kind of flour it is, will depend on the absorbency. But this is feeling good. It's starting to come together. Right, now when you're making bread, you want to knead for quite some time. But when you're making a pastry, you just want to knead it until it comes together into a nice soft dough. My butter's pretty cold, so it's just going to take a few minutes longer to get that together. It's getting there. It's feeling good. All right. Just bring together any of those loose bits. We're nearly there. Once it's all come together, shape it into a ball, as as best you can. It's looking really nice now. And I can just pop around and get those loose bits. Scrape any off your hands. And onto some plastic wrap. Wrap it up. And it needs to go into the fridge for about 15 minutes. Okay, whenever you're cooking, it's important to clean up one stage before you start the next stage. I have a scraper which we use at school, so that makes it nice and easy to get those little bits of flour cleaned up. You could just use just your hand, paper towel, and make sure you clean it up, rinse your dishes and stack them to one side, and with your dishcloth, wet your dishcloth and wipe it all down before you start the next section. Next stage is the apples. You need 3 to 4 cooking apples, 3 if they're really large, 4 if they're a little bit smaller. You'll need a potato peeler, and you'll need some sugar, some water, cloves, and some corn flour. The apples you need to peel. So when you're peeling, be very careful. The peeler is sharp. So just peel it as best you can. I like to do that way. Some people prefer to go away from themselves. I find that a bit awkward. You can either go around the apple or just towards you. Just watch your fingers. I have a worm farm here at school, so I'm going to put my apple peel into the worm farm. If you have a compost, you could also do that. Great idea to have a scrap bowl to keep all your mess to one side. You need to do this to all 4 apples. With this apple, cut it down one side of the core, then lie it flat. Go down the other side, flip it, the other side, flip it, and then you're left with that central core. And then you need to just dice them up into some smaller pieces. You have to do it pretty quickly because apple will go brown if you let it sit for too long. They don't have to be perfect pieces because they get cooked anyway. Okay, back around to the side. Do that for all 3. Okay, so once you've chopped up all of your apple, place it into a saucepan. And you need to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. So measure as you did before. Measure spoon measurement in, scrape it off. 1, again 2, and you need 2 tablespoons of water as well. 1, 2, and with your wooden spoon, just stir that around, just to dissolve the sugar a little bit. And 2 cloves. Now these are cloves. I don't know if you can see them. If you don't have any, don't worry, leave them out, but they add a really nice flavour to your apples. Put them on, put them on, and they need to, for about 10 minutes on low, okay? And give them a stir every now and again. And while they're cooking, we can get the pastry out and start rolling that out. Alright, so I've got my pastry out of the fridge. It has refirmed up again because the butter has firmed up in the fridge. Cut your pastry in half. So this is to make 2 apple pies. Now what we're going to do, if you're at school, you would make one and your partner would make the other one. But because you're doing this at home, you'll get to make 2 pies. Now if you have a foam tray like this, it makes 2 that size, okay? That's quite a small size. If you don't have one of those trays and you have something like this at home, they're slightly bigger, you might just make 1 large apple pie, okay? So that's totally up to you. The other option is if you have no tray at all, for this half, I'm going to use this foil tray. For this half, I'll show you how to just make a simple apple turnover instead. So to make this, you need half your pastry, and then 1/3 of it, we need to keep aside because that's going to be the lid. For this part, you need to just bring it together a little bit with your hands into a nice smooth ball. You need 2 pieces of Glad wrap. Now because I added that little bit of extra water, mine does feel a little bit sticky. So I might just grab a little bit of extra flour. Okay, so I've just put a little bit of flour on it and just rolled it into a bit of a disc. Put it on the bench, and then between 2 bits of Glad wrap, I'm going to get my rolling pin and roll out. If you don't have a rolling pin at home, you can use a can of spray oil. You can just use anything that you can find. Now when I'm rolling, I like to start from the middle and push out and try and keep it in that nice round shape as much as possible. Have your tin close by so you can see how big you need to make it. Now you need to make it overhang a little bit around the edge. Thickness and size. Now keep that bit of Glad wrap because you can use it again for your second piece in a minute. Okay, hold your hand underneath and flip it across. And you can just press it into the corners of your tray and then trim around. Okay, then you can add that to the lid. My apples are now ready, so I'm just going to take them out and tip them into a bowl so that they stop cooking and they can cool down a little bit. Corn flour, which is a teaspoon of corn flour with a teaspoon of water. Mine's already mixed up for me. Add that, and that will make a nice thick sauce so your apple's not too watery. And it's good to have it in a bowl so that the apple can cool down. If you add it to your pastry while it's still too hot, it'll just not pastry. You can remove your cloves because you don't want to eat them. Roll out the lid the same way I rolled out the base. Two bits of Glad wrap and roll that out. Okay, so I have now set up my apple. I've divided my mixture in half. So half of my apple can go into my first pie. Scrape that in and spread that around nice and evenly. Then take my lid. Again, same as before. Keep your hand under it with that bottom Glad wrap on. Line it up as best you can and just place it directly on top. Then peel that Glad wrap off, trying not to tear the pastry. In your knife, just trim around the edge. Then you can just use your thumb and finger to just, not really working, just press. Then just 2 little cuts in the top. Now, if you're not using a baking tin or tray, you can just do a free-formed apple turnover. So I've rolled out, I've cut my other half of pastry into 4. You can cut a circle shape to make it a bit more. Then you can add just a quarter of your apple. Fold it over to the tray. So you just make 8 of those instead of using the pie tin. Again, you'll need to just cut some little holes in the top and brush with some milk, and then it goes into the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so make sure you use oven mitts to get them out of the oven. You can see they're a beautiful golden brown colour, and also when you get them out, make sure you put them on a chopping board. So if you have a look, you can see beautiful golden colour and a beautiful dessert for your family, serve it with custard, cream or ice cream. Enjoy, and I look forward to seeing all your finished products.